Welcome to the Rockstar Principles Podcast, coming straight to you from Rock and Roll, USA, covering the latest and greatest in educational leadership trends, news, and awesomeness for principals all over the world. Now, here are your hosts, the boss, John Ross, and the Doctor of Proctors, Nick Indeglio.
The Rockstar Principles have returned, and there is controversy brewing all over this great nation. Can you believe it, John?
All over the nation?
I don't know.
All over the nation.
Right.
All over the edu-nation.
The edu-nation.
Absolutely.
All right, well,
What's it about?
It's been brought to the forefront by Washington Post columnist Valerie Strauss. Valerie writes about education quite a bit. You can follow her on Twitter at Valerie Strauss. So basically, she started with a extremely controversial headline, which reads, "Should principals stop visiting classrooms? Whoa, back up the train. People are dropping dead right this moment. Colleges, universities, and grad schools all across the world are pooping their pants because all you hear in those places is, ooh, supervision by walking around. It's got to be a great thing. But now there might be research that says it's not. So let's get into it." Nothing to say about that?
Yeah, I'm biting my tongue until I'm giving you the opportunity to fully explain what's in the article before I go off.
All right, so Valerie Strauss opens up by talking about research done by Daniel Willingham, and he's on Twitter too. You can follow him at DT Willingham. A lot of his research has shown that there's a weak or non-existent relationship between student achievement and the priority that administrators, principals, put on instructional leadership. Now, that's non-specific. She then goes into an article, some research recently done by Jason Grissom, Susanna Loeb, and Ben Master. They studied 100 principals from a very large district in Florida, in Miami-Dade, I believe, and they followed the principals around over the course of several days, I believe. I'm not sure how many people they had doing this. The article does not quote the methodology, just the quick overview. However, what they found in their
100
study,
principals, by the way. You said that 100?
Yeah,
Okay.
100 principals in the Miami-Dade.
It appears that way, yeah.
Okay. And again, we don't know, who did the following of those 100
Right.
principals,
Right.
time of year, or anything like that. We haven't looked up the study yet. However, what we want to talk about are the findings of the study. One of the findings indicate this: informal classroom walkthroughs were negatively associated with student achievement. This was especially true in places where teachers didn't view the walkthroughs as professional development. So, based on this one particular piece of research, it's saying that walkthroughs negatively affected student achievement. Even if we don't say negatively associated, even if we just take it at baseline, that would mean that there was no benefit to these walkthroughs as PD from this particular study. Now, John, right away, as we started writing down the research here, cited a limitation to this study, which was?
Just that it was done in one area, done in Miami. You don't know what initiatives they have going on in that school district. There may be a particular reason why the principals responded. It's just to give such a small group, a relatively small group, as your test data, just to me makes it less reliable.
Well, and
But that's not the crux of my argument.
Well, and we'll get to that. Yeah. It's interesting. You look at having just finished my doctorate, and John is actually in the program currently. And as you look at dissertations and studies, they are usually done over small samples. And
Right.
the idea, behind the social science of it all, is that we're supposed to replicate these studies and move them forward. However, what tends to happen is you get the news media who is looking for a story and will take a small sample,
Right.
results of a study and turn it into
Right.
and generalize everything, whereas that's not the intent necessarily. And certainly that's not the intent here by the authors. I can guarantee you that. They did a very specific study,
Yeah.
probably related to that district. They probably are involved with that district
Right.
somehow. Again, we can do that and find that out later. But what we want to talk about is just the idea tonight. And that is, informal classroom walkthroughs whatever you want to call them, principals visiting classrooms, the idea of supervision by walking around, whatever you want to call it, and student achievement. So obviously you have strong feelings, John. So let's let you open up and spout off a little.
With all due respect to the researchers and Daniel Willingham, who is basically who Ms. Strauss is using as her main source for this article, Ms. Strauss, I would have to say you're completely, totally, 100% way off base with this article. This, to me, is a prime example of the utter uselessness of news media in 2014. There, have I said enough? I mean, particularly when it comes to just about anything anymore, I have become so just dissatisfied and disgusted with news media in general. But in particular, when it comes to education, taking this study and using it to write a headline such as "Should principals stop visiting classrooms?" is just ludicrous. It's absolutely ludicrous. I don't know what this lady's qualifications are. I don't know what her background is, but she obviously doesn't know jack squat about what's going on in classrooms in America today. Okay,
or she does, and she's trying to create controversy.
Well, then she's certainly not helping the game. Then I mean, she's not helping anybody by putting an article, by titling an article that way. You're hurting the education system. You're not helping it, because what's now happening is, and again, and if you've listened to our podcast, you've heard us repeatedly praise the NEA and PSEA and the teachers associations. Okay, so I'm going to preface what I'm about to say by saying that this is an article that can be used by those within those associations who are against principals coming into the classroom for informal walkthroughs. They can use this as fuel for their argument to people that don't know enough to read between the lines on this study. But let me narrow it down before I talk for too long. The bottom line is, if you think just by wandering in and out of classrooms with no purpose as a principal, just by wandering in and out of a classroom with no purpose, if you think that's instructional leadership, you're fooling yourself. I admittedly do not do enough of that. I would love to do more of it.
The
informal in and out of classrooms, the informal walkthrough thing in and out of classrooms. That's not instructional leadership. That's just visibility. That's just connecting. That's personal connecting with kids, with teachers, with I use it to connect with what's going on in classes so I can have conversations with kids in informal settings about what they're doing in the classroom. Real true walkthroughs are informal, but there's also a specific, and as it alludes to in the article, there's a specific purpose for them. There's feedback given to the teacher afterward. And this is the battle that we're fighting with walkthroughs in public ed, because too often they're viewed as evaluative. And to me, I think they can be beneficial if there's something formal that comes back to the teacher that says, here's what I noticed, here's what we saw, non-judgmental, just data. And you can use it to judge how many times a teacher calls on males versus females, all the way to how often the teacher was sitting behind their desk compared to how often they were walking around. It can be used to do a lot of different things. And to me, to take this thing that I don't think most principals really view as instructional leadership and take that and categorize that as a waste of time and a detriment to the process, to me is not helping the battle here. I think it's a hindrance to what we're trying to do in public education today.
So let me paint this picture for you and tell me if you find this valuable then. Beginning of the year, the staff of the school, the teachers and the administration get together. They talk about what are the big goals for the year, how they're going to reach those goals, and they talk about some instructional practices that are going to help them get there. Okay? As that group, the principal and the teachers agree that throughout the course of the year, the principals will visit the classrooms informally, not in a evaluative meeting or anything like that, and they will be specifically looking for the things that they discussed and agreed upon as look-fors.
Yeah.
So now you're going in with a purpose. The teacher knows why you're there,
right,
and you now have something that's more I hate using the term formal, but I don't know. I can't think of a better word right now.
Yeah.
So
Tangible.
tangible. Okay, so let's paint that picture. That's the situation. Now, if you replicated the study that we just looked at, do you think you'd have different results?
Absolutely. Absolutely. What they're doing is they're taking this, they're using the term walkthroughs. And because we have, no other way to phrase it that's commonly known. See, I used to do what you were talking about, where I worked with a school, and that was what we identified as something we were going to do. And we specifically, purposely changed the name to Learning Walks because of the whole persona of classroom walkthrough. That's not the right phrase, but Saturday night. So, I'm not at my best right now.
Does that make it all right to do
It
whatever you got?
Little red carpet. Yeah, I'm supposed to follow that. It's very frustrating to me because I see the value in exactly what you're describing as walkthroughs. Something beneficial, as I used to describe to teachers, and I would do. I would write up with the look fors that we had agreed upon, and I would give them what I wrote up. I did not keep a copy of it. It disappeared. I give it to them. Right. I say, here, do with it what you will. This is yours now. I don't have a copy. You have the only copy. You'll never see or hear any of this again from me. It's done and over with. Take it and do what you want with it. And I think if you do it that way, in my opinion, then it is beneficial. Then you're having, who in any career, okay, that wants to do better in their job, in any career, doesn't matter what it is, would not want a third party to view them doing their job, looking for specific things like you're saying, and then just say to them, okay, here's what I saw. You asked me to look for these things while you were doing your job. I looked for them, and here's how often I saw them. In what job would you not want that if you really and truly wanted to get better at your job? It doesn't matter what it is. So, to equate that with what they're talking about as quote unquote, I'm doing air quotes, walkthroughs, it's just, to me, it's silly. And the reason I get so upset about it is because I see the benefit of this. And I think when somebody does an article like this, it uses a headline like that, it sets it up to poke holes in the whole idea, the whole concept. And I think that's just hurting public education and ultimately hurting the kids.
And I would say the distinction between popping in and saying hello and a walkthrough are extremely different.
Absolutely.
I'll be the first one to tell you that when I pop into a classroom, I am not going to be impacting student achievement.
No.
In fact, I probably am detracting from it because
exactly.
I'm interrupting the lesson.
Exactly. That's why I'm so hesitant so often to pop in, because I know when I pop in, I try to time it when I pop in.
Right.
You know what I mean? I try to time it so that I'm not doing that, because I know that when I do, every eye in the room goes to me. The teacher stops mid-sentence most of the time. Now, some teachers, it doesn't affect them whatsoever, and they just keep going. But most people, it's human nature. Your boss, your supervisor walks in. You're going to, for a quick second, even if it's for a millisecond, stop midstream. So go ahead. I cut you off, but yeah, I agree with you exactly.
Yeah,
you're cutting into something when you do that.
Right, which is the point. Now, I still do it sometimes because there's value in that as well.
Yep.
Depending on what I'm trying to accomplish, or if I'm just in a really goofy mood and I want to play around.
That's usually why I do it. Quite frankly, most often when I do it, it's like I said before,
which happens. But I mean, there's a lot of good work that's out there on what walkthroughs could and should look like. One that I really I'm in the middle of it and I'm enjoying it, and I like it in particular because it's called the 3-Minute Classroom Walkthrough. It's a book. Author is William K. Poston. We looked for him on Twitter. He's not quite there, I don't think, or at least there's a lot of them, so I couldn't find him. But his book's on Amazon. And it's much more than just a book about the 3-minute classroom walkthrough. It goes through a lot of the this is why and this is how. But essentially, it's like if you set a very laser-focused goal, in 3 minutes, you can actually accomplish quite a bit that could possibly impact student achievement, which is, I think, ultimately what you look to do. The other point I wanted to make about this was I was thinking about the Jim Collins notion from Good to Great. And, we're talking about, I'm coming back to that more and more just because in my mind, the research, there's so much in the educational field, but I think a lot of the answers lie outside of education. The Jim Collins, the Daniel Pinks, the looking at Google's practices and whatnot. But Jim Collins says It's because organizations hire the wrong people and have institutions that are antiquated to a degree that we need to have job descriptions. So if you were an effective person who is starting your own company and you hire the right people, you get the right people on the bus, then you put them in the right seat. You don't need a job description.
Right.
Those people are going to do the job that you hired them to do. It's a shared vision. You know what the goals are, you know what the objectives are. Job description came when the wrong people got hired and there was laziness or there was ineptitude and other things, and you had to actually then put on paper, okay, this is what you're expected to do, because you might have to get rid of this person, basically. So I would hope that an effective principal, when they're there long enough, the biggest impact, once again, more research, that 7-year mark, that magic mark, you have enough teachers at that point where if I didn't walk in that teacher's classroom the entire year, it's not going to make a difference because that person I know is getting the job done. But add in a walkthrough where I'm going in to look for specific things to help this excellent person, then maybe it can get even better.
Right.
So that's all I have to say.
Yeah, and I know our director of professional development in our school district, Jen Saxa. I know this is something that she's very passionate about, and since
What's
she
her
came
Twitter
to our
handle?
district, she's been working on. I think it's at DASD
_.
PROFDEV.
Correct.
Prof Dev.
Yep.
At DASD _PROFDEV. Let's let her be the freak out Twitter follow of the week. If people suddenly start randomly following her, she'll have no clue why she's getting a bunch of follows.
It's true.
But I know it's something that it's something that Jen's working on, and I worked with her previously on, and we're just facing there's a lot of apprehension on the part of teachers, and some of it is justified because it's one of those things where oftentimes I say this to you all the time, in education we're our own worst enemy, and we do things like this, but half-assed, and we expect results, and we don't get results, and in fact we create negative perceptions of it, and it makes it more difficult for when people are trying to do it the right way. So I think, just as you're talking about, when it's set up where you agree upon the look-fors, where the teachers are a part of the creation of the look-fors, I again can't see why anybody would not benefit from getting something like that. So no matter what Valerie Strauss says, pay no mind to that whole concept that she's stressing.
Or pay mind to it and do some research.
Yeah. Look on your own. Look for on your own, because it's again, you're probably right though, Nick. You're probably right in that she's it's getting us to talk about it and to log on to her website or log on to her article. So maybe that is what she's looking for.
So you can go to her Twitter page at Valerie Strauss and tell her how you feel.
All right, that'll do it for this segment of the Rockstar Principals podcast. We'll be right back.
And now a word from our fake sponsors. But we'd really love if they were our real sponsors. Seriously, we would love it.
Devil dogs are delicious, and I'm crazy about them because I love that chocolatey cake and the creamy filling. I love devil dogs more than Marsha.
Drake's Devil Dogs are one of the delicious little cakes from Borden. But don't sing with your mouth full.
Welcome back to the Rockstar Principals podcast. And once again, it is time for the Maxwell University of Leadership's 21 Rules.
Irrefutable rules of leadership.
I just drew a total blank there. It's a 21 irrefutable laws of leadership.
Yes, laws.
That's what threw me off. I said rules instead of laws. I was trying to be very serious there as well. Oh,
you
well,
are
so much
breaking
for that.
the law. Dead or alive.
I got
You're
you.
coming with
I got
me.
you, Robocop. Simmer down. We don't have to work movies into every segment that we do.
Dead or alive, you're coming with me.
We go see Robocop
I think it's going to be necessary. Although I think you have to watch the first one again. It's been a
before
long
we
time.
do.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I saw that one. But we are working our way through the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership that Mr. Maxwell.
Back to you, babe.
Can I do the segment?
Sorry.
Could you be any more intrusive into what I'm trying to do here? Could I sound any more like Chandler from Friends? Okay. So number three law we've worked up to is the law of process. And that espouses that leadership develops daily, not in a day. What are you doing? I have no idea what you just did.
It didn't work.
Okay, should I just go on? Are we going to use this?
Oh
segment?
yeah, we're using it.
Okay,
Keep
all right.
going.
I'm not even going to try to describe what Nick was just doing. Okay, so leadership develops daily, not in a day. Come on, get serious. We're trying to get listeners here, dude. You're not helping. So, as Maxwell says, becoming a leader is like investing in the stock market. If you try to make a fortune in a day, you won't succeed. Obviously, it's the day-to-day things that you do over the long haul. You continually invest in your leadership development. So he quotes this study of 90 top leaders and kind of just uses that to espouse this process, this five-phase process for growth. Okay, so the first phase, you don't know what you don't know. It's kind of saying you're not aware that you could even become a leader. And then in the second phase, you know that you need to know, is when you realize you need to learn how to lead. And the third phase, you know what you don't know. As you discover the gaps in your knowledge about leadership, you understand the things that you need to learn. And then in the fourth phase, you know and grow, and it starts to show. Sounds like a greeting card. When you begin the daily discipline of personal growth, exciting things start to happen. And then in the fifth phase, you simply go because of what you know. The ability to lead becomes automatic, and you develop great instincts that help you to lead effectively. So a really cool way, I think, this five-step process, really five-phase process, really cool way to kind of surmise the law of process and how you develop your leadership. So now that Nick is kind of composed himself and looks like he's ready to be serious again, any comments on this one?
Yeah, I think there's an unwritten piece to this law, and that piece is the notion of the born leader, and the fact that step one in particular, you don't know what you don't know. You're not even aware that you could become a leader. And you look again, with a lot of Jim Collins this episode, but humility and an understated personality, to a large degree, is characteristics of the level 5 leader. So most of those people who have been with the successful companies wouldn't be looked at as born leaders. So I think it is a process to become at least an effective leader, or the kind of leader people would want to follow, which was actually part of our Twitter chat on Thursday night, with our leadership quotes and whatnot. So just the idea of growing in a process, I think, to me, is what strikes me and what's important with this concept. The fact that it doesn't happen in a day, that you have to be patient, that you have to work at it, and take your time to get to the point where you're going to achieve and be successful.
And I would agree with that. And I would also add that I think there could be a sixth, not necessarily phase, but it kind of fits with the things that Maxwell's talking about there, and something that I was taught early on in my leadership growth, and that is you don't realize how much you know. And that's the whole idea of sharing what you've learned. I think a lot of what you see about leadership, they talk about how as a leader, it's incumbent upon you to pass on your knowledge, to not only share the knowledge that you've gained, but also to use the knowledge that you've gained to develop future leaders, whether they are your replacements or they are people that are going to go on and work in other schools. I mean, I'm proud to say that I've had several assistant principals, and every one of them that I've had has gone on to be a principal themselves of their own building. And I don't know if that's common or not, or I don't know if that's what's to be expected, but
that should be the goal.
That's as I was getting to. Yeah, someone once said the assistant principalship is not a career choice. that, most of the time when you're an assistant principal, you're working up toward being a principal. But it's easier said than done. So something that was done for me and that I've tried to do is to give my assistant principals that growth opportunity. And I think that holds true for any business. And I know Maxwell's book isn't just an education book, it's a leadership book. And I think anybody in positions of leadership should work toward developing their replacement or people that will go on and lead in other areas as well.
And another characteristic from Jim Collins's work, The Level 5 Leader, is preparing and setting up the organization for success after you're gone.
Mm-hmm.
So a true leader with confidence, humility, and a passion for the company wants the company to succeed after they're gone. How often do you hear about people, or even principals, I mean, let's be honest, who leave and look back at the former school hoping that they fall flat without them, when it really should be the opposite, that
Right.
the school should thrive after you're gone,
Right.
hopefully.
Yep.
Then again, I think that speaks to preparing our assistant principals and getting them ready for
Mm-hmm.
their ultimate goal.
Sure.
And now let's be fair too. I have nothing against the assistant principals out there who just want to be assistant principals. There might be a reason that is attractive to you. A lot of assistant principal positions are also athletic directors. People might have a passion for master scheduling.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Yeah.
So they're out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. But yeah, it's really cool. Law number 3, very, very interesting, and something that I think people should keep in mind. Those phases, no matter where you are in your career, I think there's a little bit of fluidity. I think you can always, as things change, you still need to consider growth. So even if you're a veteran leader, those last 2 phases you might, jump back and forth in. But I think that does help give new leaders a framework for what they should be working toward. So pretty cool.
All right. Well, now that we've done our university work, maybe we can head down to the quad or go to the hub.
Let's go throw the frisbee around in the quad.
Yeah.
Little hacky sack.
Little
We're dating ourselves by saying that.
watch Friends.
Does that happen anymore?
I don't know.
Like it happens.
People got to play still hacky sack.
Do they?
Probably.
Hipsters.
Hipsters. All right. Yeah. Bye.
We'll be right back with more of the Rockstar Principles podcast.
And now a word from our fake sponsors. But we'd really love if they were our real sponsors. Seriously, we would love it.
Who are the people in your Twitter hood? In your Twitter hood. This seems uninspired because we just recorded this segment
I'm not joining you out of protest.
and it didn't record when I sang the opening theme for this segment. The last time I just recorded it 5 seconds ago, John was doing beatbox, DJ sounds.
You're just gonna have to wait. I might be inspired in the future to do that, but this guy, I just lost my inspiration. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we had a great.
That may have been the greatest segment we've ever recorded, and no one will ever hear it.
Nope. Except for
Darn you, technology!
your cat even left the room, I think. Your cat didn't even hear it. All right, well, we're back to our spot, our own advertisement. Who are the people in your Twitter hood? Where we're going to talk about some people we selected in our Twitter feed that we wanted to give a shout out to, and I pick one, John picks one, and then we pick one together. So this time we'll change it up. I'll start with mine. What the heck?
Oh, wow!
Yeah.
All right,
We'll mix it up a little bit.
mix it.
So, maybe you should start. I don't know.
All right, I'll start.
We are all.
I'll start.
I'm all kinds of
Oh,
confuddled.
wait, this isn't. We're recording now.
Oh, yeah,
This is
we're-
real?
we're-
This
we're
is
actually
real?
recording,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Well,
We're
maybe
getting
we should
every
be
word
more-
now.
Should be more serious then. All right, I'm going to start. My Twitter choice for the week is at DRBILLZIEGLER, Dr. Bill Ziegler. Dr. Bill Ziegler is somebody who follows us and we follow back on Twitter. In addition to being the high school principal in the Pottsgrove area school district, or is it just Pottsgrove School District?
Pottsgrove, yeah.
Pottsgrove School District. Dr. Ziegler is an adjunct professor at Temple University as well. He's a husband and father of 2 teenagers. And he's also the president of our State Principals Association, the Pennsylvania Association of Elementary and Secondary School Principals. So in addition to all of those great and wonderful things, the main reason I wanted to mention Dr. Ziegler this week is that he helped us out with a little new venture that we started a couple of days ago. Thursday night, Nick and I were honored to host our first Twitter chat. The Rockstar Principals hosted a Twitter chat. We moderated it. Nick came up with some great quotes that we used as the kind of leaping off point for the different segments in our Twitter chat. And Dr. Ziegler kind of helped us come up with the ideas. And we used PAESSP, the State Principals Association, is kind of our sponsor, quote unquote, I guess. And so the hashtag for the chat is hashtag PAESSP chat, all one word. It's Thursday nights at 8 o'clock, but even if you go on Twitter now and put in that hashtag, you can kind of follow some of the stuff that we were talking about. Some really great stuff, a lot of cool things that people discussed in there. And Dr. Ziegler was definitely a major part of what we did. So check him out. He's got a lot of cool stuff on his Twitter feed. A lot of things that he's been involved in with the school and with our state association. So even if you're not from Pennsylvania, but certainly if you are, Dr. Ziegler's Twitter feed is one that you should check out.
And along with that, the Pennsylvania Association for Elementary and Secondary School Principals, that's our Pennsylvania chapter.
Right.
The national affiliates are NASSP. No, darn it, I got it wrong already. Yeah, no, that's right.
NASSP.
Yeah, and NAESP.
There you go.
All right, so the elementary and secondary branches are covered. The secondary branch, NASSP, is actually having their Ignite, the big annual conference in Dallas. It's coming up, so if you have some professional development money left to spend, maybe take a trip out to Dallas and attend their conference. Dr. Ziegler will be there. And I think the really cool thing to add about Dr. Ziegler as well is he was introduced to the Rockstar Principals at the PAESSP conference, and he knew a good thing when he saw it.
Absolutely, yeah. He's been very supportive of us and what we've been doing since back in October when we first talked to him at the state conference. So he's a good guy and definitely somebody. He does a podcast of his own, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, that's interesting. We didn't know that. He wasn't a braggart. He didn't come out.
Yeah. I should try to find out what that is while you're going on with your who's your Twitter follow for the week, Dr. Nick?
Well, I wanted to pick someone who was a Rockstar contributor to our first ever at hashtag PAESSP chat, and I choose Bethany Hill, who is very active in the Twitterverse. She's in a lot of the education Twitter chats, and her Twitter handle is at BethHill2829. She is an elementary school principal. She is passionate about education. She offered some really great insights during the chat, and she did a couple things in the chat that you hoped a few people would who have experience. In addition to posting her own answers, to the quotes and the questions, she responded and retweeted and got other people involved as well. And I'm just very appreciative that she took the time to be in our chat, number one, and number two, took an active role and really helped us out. So I think that's really great, and let's get her some more Twitter follows. BethHill2829. Lastly, our final one, and staying on the theme of support and help, we had one of our Rockstar friends join us in our PAESSP chat, and that's Eric Daney. Eric is the science coordinator for the Downingtown Area School District, in addition to being a teacher at the STEM Academy. And John, as you said in the last time we recorded this a few seconds ago, the #1 school in Pennsylvania via SSP score is the STEM Academy, and that's where our friend teaches. So this past week, Eric Daney single-handedly launched a rocket ship into outer space.
Did he just throw it?
Well, I think I really simplified that and made...
I think actually, in all seriousness, what they did was the STEM Academy created an experiment that went up on a rocket into outer space. So Eric's Twitter handle is at Eric Daney. I wasn't sure if you said that or not, Nick. ERICDANEY. Eric was one of the first people that really got on board with the Rockstar Principals when he heard about it and saw it. I remember he came up to me and said something. He was kind of the first fan, quote unquote. It was the first time somebody came up out of the blue and started a conversation with me about what we were doing. So that was really cool. And Eric's a great guy, very knowledgeable guy, and somebody that if you're interested in hearing more about the STEM Academy, the _1 school in Pennsylvania, somebody you should give a follow to. So, check Eric out on Twitter if you get a chance.
Yeah, and you can follow the STEM Academy at DASD_STEM if you would like to do that. And that's the conclusion of our chat here. So let's all give a big hug to all of our followers in the Twitterverse.
We pausing for the hug?
Yeah, everyone's hugging.
Okay.
Hanging.
And now we're going to go back to the regular podcast, right? This was the commercial?
Yeah, this
we
was
taped
the
this
commercial.
time. We
Yeah,
taped
we
it.
taped
Taped?
this time.
You sure? I'm looking at the computer. I see little lines going up and down, so I'm assuming that tape.
That does mean a tape.
It was.
Sadly, in our last segment, we had a very organic
We did.
discussion that came up about the new Joaquin Phoenix movie.
Yes.
The Spike Jones
I
movie.
forget how we got on that topic. Oh, about hugging your
hugging
Twitter.
your phone
yeah,
and
yeah, that's
Twitter.
why you looked at me when you said that. You were hoping I would do it again.
I was going to see if we could
Yeah.
take a shot at it. So that new movie, Her, I believe it's called, right? Where he falls in love with his...
I'm not
He's not going there.
I'm not participating. You lost the first one. I'm holding it against you. I'm holding a grudge. Grudge, by the way. You ever see the movie The Grudge? No. All right, let's not.
That was kind of scary. Before we do it, I'm just going to do this one more time. Hold on.
Okay.
Siri, will you marry me?
My end-user licensing agreement does not cover marriage. My apologies.
I think that movie would be very, very short if he started by asking her that.
Yeah, that's true.
Be a very quick movie. I think it builds up more to that. You have to work on the relationship more, Nick. You can't just lead with "Will you marry me?" You know what I mean? You have to ask what she's interested in. You have to, do a lot of listening, not so much talking.
All right, let me try one more time.
Okay, go ahead.
Siri, what do you like to do on a Saturday night?
You don't have any reminders that are due next Saturday.
See, she's supposed to say, "I like to listen to the Rockstar Principles podcast." That's what she's supposed to say. We have to work on that with her.
Siri, what's your favorite book?
I don't really like talking about myself.
This relationship just isn't going to work. I don't think she's interested, Nick.
She's just not that
Either that or she knows you're married.
Don't tell Denise.
Okay. That'll do it for Who Are the People in Your Twitter Hood. And now back to the Rockstar Principles podcast. Welcome back to the Rockstar Principles podcast. For our next segment, we're going to do a little New Year's resolution segment here. As we are entering 2014, one of the common things that everybody likes to do when they're making their resolutions, something you see all over TV, you hear a lot of people talking about, and that is getting in shape, whether it's weight loss or exercise or just to be a healthier you, eating right, all of those different things. And our good friend here, Dr. Nick, happens to know an awful lot about a lot of different programs. He's turned me on to some different things, helped me train for a couple of races. I did a half marathon a year ago. And Nick also got us into a Tough Mudder a little bit. It's almost 2 years ago. We did the Tough Mudder with a couple of our teachers. A whole lot of fun. So Nick really knows what he's talking about, folks. So I give it a good listen because he's got some things that he wants to share with you when it comes to being healthy and getting into shape. So shoot away there, Dr. Nick.
Well, as time goes on, we get older.
Is that eat another spiced wafer?
Fact. It's very true. And, resolutions are made and resolutions come and go. And one of the ones that has an 80% failure rate, maybe even higher, is getting in shape in the new year and health resolutions for the new year, losing weight, whatever that resolution may be. Interesting article that came out right around the new year is that one of the focuses should be on process instead of goals. So instead of setting a weight loss goal, set your resolution as the process you're going to follow to get to the goal.
Okay.
So one of those things to, really kind of get you motivated is finding exercise or fitness that you are going to be interested in, that's going to motivate you, and that's going to propel you to reach your goals. For me, it's been difficult. I've been heavier than I should be for several years now. Last time I was in the kind of shape that is appropriate, for me at least, or that I feel, was in 2009 prior to starting the doctoral program. And I can give you a million excuses for why I got out of shape, but again, none of them really matter. In high school, I was a runner, long distance runner. In college, I was a cheerleader and a mascot. That was definitely more anaerobically based, plyometrics, gymnastics, a lot of strength training involved. And then the professional wrestling after that. So weightlifting and running, not really two things that would seem to fit together. They seem kind of juxtaposed. but very, very passionate about those things, and I've coached them as well. So for me, finding a workout program to get involved in was difficult. I've got the knowledge to train other people, but to develop a program for myself, it's hard for me to stay motivated with my own work. My wife Denise, who is also a fitness buff, loves the Beachbody programs, P90X, P90X2, the Shaun T Insanity workouts.
Mm-hmm.
She's a big fan of those. Those are great programs, but you have to be in a pretty good level of fitness already to really get into that and embrace that. I think there's probably a lot of people out there in listener land who maybe have background as, say, football players. I mean, you only play football pretty much through high school. You're lucky if you get to play through college. But who enjoyed weightlifting, might feel comfortable around weights. And one of the new programs from Beachbody, which you can follow at Beachbody on Twitter, is called Body Beast. At Body Beast. You can see the program on Twitter. Run by, or the workout is tailored by former Israeli, I had to have been a bodybuilder. I really haven't done a whole lot of background research on him. Very funny during the workouts. But the idea is combining traditional resistance training with some more contemporary elements. So mixing in some of the progressive set training, supersetting, giant setting, throwing in some more CrossFit type movement, but really centered on pushing weights. The idea, the traditional idea, combining 1970s, bodybuilding philosophy with the shift in the 90s and 2000s into more sports specific, and kind of bringing it all together in a kind of uniform way. So it's a 3-phase program, like most of Beachbody's products, 90 days total. And I just finished phase 1, so the first 3 weeks there. And I've been really impressed. Again, I'm starting off in a place where I'm not in any kind of shape at all. And I'm surprised at how quickly the muscle memory is coming back. It's remembering how the movement should be performed. Strength is picking up very quickly. And the program is tailored for that. It's 6 days on, it's 1 day off, so you do have to commit the time to it.
Right.
But the workouts are between 30 and about 50 minutes, which, soup to nuts is really what you need to be putting in anyway for any kind of real, fitness there. So I'm going to give it a thumbs up through the first 3 weeks. The next 3 weeks should be really interesting to see how it plays through. But so far, I'm impressed. I want to kind of promote a little bit and get some of the Beachbody love out there. And one of their big products too is called, I think it's Shakeology. It's a fitness recovery / pre-workout, post-workout drink, full of protein, nutrients. One of those try to replenish after the workouts to help your body recover and everything. So that's my hit right now.
Didn't you hear about this from one of our Twitter followers? Or is there someone you talked to on Twitter? I've seen you.
Yeah, well, I didn't hear about the program from him, but after we just tweeted a quick mention of it, we found out that he is actually a certified Beachbody coach. It's our good friend at Crazy Joe Clark.
That's what I thought it was.
Yeah, and he. So if you're looking to get involved and you need the motivation of kind of having a personal trainer, you can find. You can find him on Twitter, obviously. Mm-hmm. We've referenced his Twitter handle many times, but you can actually enlist him as a coach through any one of a number of the Body Beast products. Beachbody products.
All right.
So that's my plug. What are you thinking, New Year's resolution wise?
Mine's food. Mine comes down to food. I'm pretty good with the exercise. Pretty good with getting on the treadmill and just doing. I mean, that's always worked for me. It's just it works a heck of a lot better, obviously, when I can control what I'm eating. So that's always been my biggest struggle. I enjoy any kind of exercise, whether it's on a treadmill or running outside or doing stuff on. I have the Xbox, the one Xbox Nike game that I've done. That has some exercise components to it. I have it right over here. Hold on.
John just walked out of earshot of the microphone, but he's back.
I'm back. It's the Kinect training, the Xbox 360 Kinect training. That's pretty cool. It's just a different way of doing things. It's got some aerobic part to it, but it's got some also strength and conditioning part to it. So I do all of that different kind of stuff. I know you gave me some help when we were training for the Tough Mudder, when I was training for the half marathon. So I do not mind exercise at all. I never hesitate to do any kind of exercise. My thing is just I eat like a pig. If I can somehow get under control what I'm eating, I do a lot better. I get a lot more out of what I'm doing. So that's what I'm trying to do this year, is just try to watch a little bit more of what I'm eating. I'm trying to cut out a lot of things. You're sitting here with your Pepsi Max. I'm just drinking a water, trying to reduce even the diet sodas. I was drinking a lot of diet sodas, so trying to cut back on that stuff too.
Yeah, it's hard to. Yeah, you got to pick your.
That's the toughest part for me. Is just the food stuff is good. I just love food. I love eating, as most people do, I'm sure. But yeah, that's the toughest part for me.
Well, one of the best ways to start your goal would be something else we can promote then, which would be an app called MyFitnessPal. You can get it on iOS, on Android, and they have a desktop platform, which I don't really like. I love their iPad and their iPhone app is great, but it's calorie recording. You have to spend a little bit of time trying to learn your body and figuring out, what is my basal metabolic rate? How many calories do I burn in a day? How much activity do I perform?
Right.
And then start charting those calories, because it's to a degree, and I simplify this, to a degree, it's simple math. 1 pound is 3,500 calories. Mm-hmm. If you reduce your calorie intake by 500 calories a day, whether that's by reducing what you eat or upping your exercise, you lose a pound a week.
Right.
And granted, there's other factors that influence this, but one of the only ways to know how much you're taking in is to record it. So if you're looking for a way to get that started, folks, MyFitnessPal, great app to do it.
Cool. All right. Well, that'll do. We're getting a little into a whole nother area here that we really haven't touched on before. Personal health and fitness and well-being. So that's pretty cool. A little different tone from the Rockstar Principles this time around, but something that hopefully people appreciate.
We can train you, folks. We can train you. Hey, John wanted to run a half marathon. Guess what? John said, let's do a half marathon. Well, he didn't say let's do. He wanted to do a half marathon. I said, John, you can run a sub 2-hour half marathon. We're going to train you to run just under 2 hours in the half marathon. Yeah. What did you run?
It was 1 hour, 58 minutes, and 9 seconds, I believe, was what I ran it in.
What does that show you?
40-some-year-old guy. Yeah, I was pretty happy with that result. Of course, that was in 2012. I did the Broad Street Run in 2013, which is a 10-miler. I didn't do quite as well with that, but I had an excuse. That was the spider bite.
Yeah, we got to talk about this. At some point, we got to talk about the spider bite.
I don't think people are interested. I don't think people want to hear about my spider bite episode. But suffice it to say, it did negatively impacted my performance, and I will, to my dying day, maintain that my results in the 2013 Broad Street Run in Philadelphia would have been significantly better if I had not been bitten by a spider a few days before and subsequently had a serious allergic reaction to it. It was pretty scary and messed up. And
had you only been bitten by a radioactive spider?
I was about to say, wound up picking up the nickname Spider-Man, not just from my friend here, but from several of my teachers and a couple of particular guidance counselors at my school who took to decorating my office like Spider-Man. So that was nice of them, and I've still yet to pay them back for that. But I digress, everyone. Do something. Get up, get fit, try to cut back on the calorie intake, try to increase the activity level, and you'll see, obviously, it's worth the time and effort.
And maybe try to get over your fear of spiders, because guess what? I'm terrified of spiders.
Yeah, I know you are. Sorry, I'm very distracted by what's going on television right now.
Crazy commercial for
Raise? Is that the name of the movie? Yeah, Raise.
Yeah.
Oh, Raise. Okay. Yeah. I just saw two women in a pit fighting, and I could not figure out what the heck was happening.
R-A-Z-E.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that movie.
Also interesting is the Terrell Owens commercial playing right now.
I refuse to look when Terrell Owens is on the television. I'm sorry. As soon as I saw it was him, I looked away.
It was a Carl's Jr. Hardee's commercial.
I'm still trying to recover from what Terrell Owens did to the Philadelphia Eagles organization.
What do you mean?
But anyway.
No. He did some sit-ups outside.
No.
Hey, he's fit.
Oh my God, he's amazing. He's unbelievably fit. Yeah.
We don't want you to be Terrell Owens fit. We just want you to be you fit.
That's right. Wow. You should put that on a t-shirt. All right, so if you're still listening, thank you, I guess, is all I can say.
I don't know.
That'll do it.
Send us your resolutions.
Oh, that's a good idea.
You could send them to.
You know what's funny? Every week we was like, oh, send us this idea, send us that. We never get anything.
No one sends us anything. Yet hundreds of people are listening to each episode of this podcast.
We keep saying send us stuff, and nobody sends
does.
us anything.
So real quick, as we sign off here, send it to us in one of many ways. You ready? How about at RCKSTR Principal? That's our Twitter handle. Go on Facebook. Type in Rockstar Principles. Leave it on our Facebook page. Hey, guess what other platform we're on now? Stitcher. You can listen to the podcast on Stitcher and leave comments on Stitcher. How about our email address? rockstarprinciples@gmail.com. How about our phone number? 267-53...
58.
Damn it. 58 ROCK1. Text us. Call us. Someone, just one person.
Somebody.
With
a resolution. Just one of those things to give us a resolution. That way we at least know. I'm starting to get the feeling people are just saying they're listening and they're not.
No, but I know they are. I track our metrics.
Yeah.
So I track literally at this point how far through an episode people get.
I think you have a problem.
But we can do that.
I really think you have a problem. Why are you looking at that?
Because it's important. We think we're good, right?
Yeah.
But if we really suck, people might start an episode and just turn it off and not finish it.
True.
So
okay.
what's the
let us know.
Completion
Let us know
rate?
your resolutions or your ideas for things we can talk about on the show, and we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, we don't want to kill you.
What?
What did I say?
I have no idea. What
there's
you're talking
now
about
we're literally
now there's a commercial for
Deliverance.
the movie Deliverance on TV.
Oh man.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Bye.
That'll do it for the Rockstar Principles podcast. See ya.
Thanks for helping RSP top the charts in the Edu podcast world. Keep it real with Twisted Steel and School Appeal.